Hey everyone, Alan here. Just a different opening to usual this week. I thought it was warranted. Just to let you guys know, everything that comes on this show after the intro music was taped earlier in the week, and obviously we all had some terrible news last night with the passing of the real hero himself, Jamal Hepburn. Perhaps pronounced Jahmale. One of those things, one of those funny byproducts of us all kind of being online friends is sometimes it'd be someone who you never actually meet and you just say their name whatever way you say it in your own head. And I've always said Jamal, but that may be incorrect. But what I know is not incorrect is that he was an incredible person in the community of online wrestling, specifically Japanese wrestling fandom. He was someone who his tireless efforts and work and enthusiasm for just getting footage out there, making it available for people was awesome. And it was such a huge help to me as someone who is a big Japanese wrestling fan that it's so much stuff that I always wanted to watch. And it was a huge help to people who became Japanese wrestling fans essentially because of him, because they stumbled across his mountain of uploads, be it on Dailymotion, YouTube, wherever it might be. The days before we had streaming services that we could watch this stuff on legally and pay for it and all that good stuff, when it was the wild west and it was kind of doing whatever you could to try and get this footage from Japan and then share it out there with people. um, he was an integral cog in that. And when you factor in just how long he did it for and the hours he put in, he may have been the most integral cog in that. It's a huge loss to the community. But more importantly, it's a huge loss of a young man who had his whole life in front of him. I knew he was a great guy, but today seeing the amount of people kind of coming out and talking about how great he was to them, what a good guy he was to them, and how he took. I always thought, like, how does this guy have any time with all this work he's doing uploading? But he still seemed to find the time to be just chit chatting with everyone, making sure people were doing okay, helping people through things. The stuff you don't see and hear about that now you do because people are coming out sharing that he was so good to them. And like with putting up all those matches, he never really sought anything in return. Can't recall Jamal ever asking a single thing of me in my whole time knowing him. Just yes, a giver. That's what he was. An absolute giver and an oh god, a bastion of knowledge. In terms of wrestling, specifically Japanese wrestling and 2000s, I would say Japanese wrestling. When I think of Jamal, I think of like 2000, 2015, that kind of period. Or even, maybe even if you want to narrow it a bit, '05 to 2015, like that is his wheelhouse. Like he knows that stuff inside and out, and that really speaks to me because those 2004, 2005 is when I got into Japanese wrestling. So like he's one of these people who, I often feel like the mid to late 2000s in Japan's kind of a, maybe an underappreciated time, a forgotten about time, because there's so much cool stuff that I think happened there, and I have so many great memories. And we were kind of kindred spirits because I knew he was always someone that did appreciate that stuff, and he was always trying to get people to watch that stuff, whether it was Zero One Max or Noah when they were still kicking ass, or the New Japan that was like before the peak era but still had some really cool, awesome stuff that people just don't know about in a lot of cases. And he was always pushing that stuff and again making it available for people to watch. And he worked so hard, and yeah, he was such a fountain of information. A couple of things that just some things that come to mind when I think of just sort of recent interactions with Jamal that I'll think of when I think of him going forward. Or there was someone was looking to forget who it was. I think it was a wrestler or an ex-wrestler was looking for Munenori Sawa recommendations, and I put together a little bit of a list of Sawa stuff, and I thought it was pretty darn comprehensive. I was chuffed with my work, and I floated out there. Wasn't missing anything, and of course, real hero. If anyone's gonna know Munenori Sawa, it's gonna be him, and he jumped right in there with, "Hey, Kudo Hidaka retirement match 2011. You gotta have that one in there." And sure enough, he was right. That's a great match, a great match, and such a real hero guys right there. Kudo Hidaka and Munenori Sawa. Those are his wheelhouse, big time. Another one I found this earlier today. I was just kind of looking up some old stuff. I love that on December 15th, 2019, he put up Dick Togo versus Habu, HUB all caps, a cult favorite of underground Japanese indie wrestling fans. And Dick Togo is like the god of underground Japanese indie wrestling. But someone put up this match, or sorry, he put up this match 2019. It happened in probably Osaka Pro, and I retweeted and went, "Attention, Voice of Wrestling! Attention, Starkman Jones, Ricky Starks," because Ricky Starks, you may know a lot about him from his appearances on Dynamite, AEW. What a great performer he is. But what you might not know about Ricky Starks is big Hub fan. Big Habu fan, loves the Habu, Ricky Starks. And Ricky replied about 2 weeks later. He sees the tweet and he says, "Alan, I went to check it out and it's gone. Any re-ups?" Voice of Wrestling, I didn't get to it in time either. Oh well. And I said, "Yeah, same for me, damn YouTube." One of the many occasions where Real Heroes accounts were hit and he had to build a new one up, but literally within minutes he responded to the three of us, and Daily Motion link, old reliable guys, and there was the link to the match. Ricky Starks, you rule, thank you again. And Voice of Wrestling, such perfect words, the realest hero. He truly was, because if you were in need of a hero to get you a Habu versus Dick Togo match from Osaka Pro, there was only one hero to turn to, the real hero for sure. And then finally, another one that I remembered today that's great is, let me pull it back up here. I think I've lost it. Yeah, I've lost it. But basically, it was a great deal where Chris Hero was there was a gif of like Chris Hero's one of his matches in Noah in, I want to say, like 2013. It's the kind of era of Pro Wrestling Noah, kind of when it was kind of just before Suzuki Gun came in, around that kind of time. Not an era a lot of people talk about, but Hero was over there after his initial WWE run, and he was like going against a litany of guys who, like, you'd forget Chris Hero had these dream matches against Kojima, Nagata, all these, Sugira and Marufuji, all these guys on, and he was part of like a global league singles tournament that Noah did, all that kind of stuff. And I think it was David Bixenspan saw the GIF and was like, "Wow, is much of this stuff still out there?" And Case Lowe responded, former guest on the show, of course. Case was like, "No, sadly, I think it's all been purged over the years. None of it is out there anymore." And then within minutes, like, flash that bat signal, there's the real hero, and he's producing about 20 tweet replies in a row with links to hero matches from this specific run that we're talking about. That is what Jahmale Hepburn was all about in the wrestling community. That is the kind of selfless contributor he was. That's how excited he was to always share good wrestling with people, expose good wrestling to people. You've seen so many fans, but not just fans, wrestlers, people around the industry today have coming out with amazing tributes about what he did for them, in terms of how he exposed them to different stuff. Whether if you were countless foreign wrestlers going to Japan who wanted to see their stuff and they didn't know how to get it. They didn't know how to get Samurai TV footage online. They weren't part of the community essentially doing that. So they would want to see their stuff, and who would it be that would help them out? It would be Real Heroes. So he was a blessing. We were lucky to have him. It's just really sad that it was such a short time. It should have been a lot longer. And I'll miss him. Everyone will miss him. Today sucks. And yeah, I am going to watch a bunch of stuff that I know he'd want me to be watching and that he would love over the course of the weekend. And I think the next show we do here on the Progress Paradise, I'm probably going to try to gather together a few of the guys who, would have been like-minded. And we're going to probably watch a bunch of Real Hero uploads, a bunch of matches that he would have loved and that he would have shared with us over the years. And we'll probably just talk about them and praise some good wrestling. I think he would have enjoyed that. So that's it. I'm going to leave it there. And hope you guys enjoyed this show that comes after the intro music. Bye, everybody.